Getting a job in esports is a dream to many, but a lot of people have no idea where to start. That's why in this video, we're going to go over 10 jobs at 10 different salaries in esports, what is needed for these jobs, including education, background, and skills, and what to do from here if you want to make one of these jobs yours. Now, the Saudi Esports Academy runs boot camps that will help you find the job of your dreams. We bring in top-tier esports professionals into our programs so they can teach you the skills and the path forward to get the top jobs that you want. So definitely check out the Saudi Esports Academy down below and smash that like, subscribe. Let's get into the video. Now, the first job that we got to talk about is caster. And the average salary can definitely dramatically change depending on what type of experience you have as a caster, but here's the average right there. Now, what exactly does a caster do? These are the people that weave the story of a game in real time and add a sense of hype and flair. They're like casters for sports in the way that they're watching the game just like you and I, but they're constantly looking at the state of the game and the things that happened between the competitors prior to keep the audience excited to see every play. They're strong communicators and public speakers that give engaging context of the game to the audience. Now, for educational need, this is one of the professions where it might be helpful to have a degree in a related field like sports broadcasting, but it's also entirely possible to break into casting without a degree at all. If you want to get this position, casters need to build connections within the esports industry as well as have a resume to back up more professional events that they might be chosen for. A video demo reel showing you at your best could certainly do the trick, and in terms of getting that demo reel, volunteering at smaller or more amateur level events are the perfect low risk, high reward testing grounds to build that experience and build a demo reel that can get you better and better gigs or even full-time positions. While you might not be initially enticed by the average salary of a caster, at the high end, they can make incredible amounts of money, and in addition, you can have an incredibly flexible work-life balance and build connections that can lead to other job opportunities in esports down the road. Now, job number 2, esports organizers. Now, what does this job do? Esports organizers plan and execute these larger-than-life events. They secure venues, manage logistics, gain sponsors, and ensure that the event itself goes as smoothly as possible. Along with inviting players and teams to the venue, they engage with the community to build hype for the event itself. Now, for education needed, we do recommend a degree in business, marketing, or communications. It does give you a leg up against other applicants for this type of position, but it is 100% not needed, and you can definitely work your way up to this on the ground floor in esports. Now, if you want this position, you need to ask yourself, do you feel like you can set up events or parties? Because if you can or you want to, you're already well on your way to being qualified for this role. This is one of those positions where gaining even the most remote of experience could go a long way, and there is a lot of overlap with other jobs in this position. As long as you have a portfolio of achievements to fall back on and a network of reliable people through things like social media, work will be easier to find than you think. There's always the next esports event around the corner that you can help plan, execute, or be part of to make sure that it's a successful event. Now, next up, we do got to talk about being a pro player. And the average salary is actually hard to quantify here because there are some new professionals or starting professionals that are on the lower end, but eventually you can achieve some of the highest salaries in all of esports with this job. Whether it's a MOBA, FPS, or even a card game, professionals go up against one another, usually in front of a live audience, playing against the best of the best and trying to come out on top. Not only do they play competitively, but they have an organization they're signed to, and they work with them to produce content for social media to get fans excited to see them more and grow the overall brand. Now, for education, you don't need any at all. When it comes to being an esports pro, anyone can do it, whether they're in high school, college, or even beyond that. If you're willing to put in the effort to grind, you have the potential to be an esports pro. Now, if you want to get this position, however, it is not easy. In order to start pursuing an esports career, you can't just be above average in a game, you need to be a cut above the rest. The common way to get noticed is to consistently participate in tournaments and be successful in them if possible. Think of your tournament winnings like a resume that can be an application to a bigger and better team later on, or even a shot at a tier 1 pro team. Eventually, you'll catch the attention of an organization, they'll reach out to you and you'll compete under their banner, but it's also entirely possible to get scouted from things like social media or just climbing the ranked ladder depending on the game you're playing. Also, many other jobs in esports would be easier to do with expert knowledge on video games or a specific video game. And that's why a lot of pro players can make great transitions to other esports jobs, including jobs like caster, analyst, and more. Now, the next job is graphic designer, with an average salary around this. Graphic designers create visuals for teams, organizations, and even entire leagues if contracted to do so. They use their creative skill set to produce various designs, including logos, website aesthetics, and promotional materials that can be used by their clients. Now, as far as education, a degree in graphic design is never a bad idea when it comes to trying to get a job in graphic design. After all, formal training in programs like Photoshop could go a long way in your career as a graphic designer and qualify you from some more professional, higher-end positions right off the bat. That being said, it isn't completely necessary because you can self-teach many of the skills that you need to actually get a job as a graphic designer if you learn how to use the tools with many free programs and resources online, and you take gig after gig from various people in the community and slowly but surely build up your portfolio and skill set. You could snowball that into a higher level position later on. Now, if you want to get this position, of course you need to have a traditional resume, but having a portfolio of your work when it's a visual position, something that you're making very pretty based artwork, it's going to be one of the best ways that you can actually secure a position in this field. You could do that by having a website or even posting some of it on your social media for just about anyone to see. The more eyes that get on your work, and if it's impressive work, you will draw attention and you will get opportunity. Just like the other entries on the list, the last thing that you want to do when a big opportunity comes is have nothing to show them regarding your skill. So make sure at all times you have a portfolio or something that you can show to people that say, hey, I am skilled, I can do the job, and I want this position. Now, number 5, we have gaming journalist. And gaming journalists write about video games and the industry that surrounds the topic. Not only will you be writing about games that these players compete in, but when tackling the esports side of things, you'll be writing about the intense matches and storylines that different teams, orgs, and players go on. It's a profession where you'll be showing off your love of the industry through your words and constantly following the events that happen from week to week. Now, higher education isn't absolutely needed, but this is definitely going to be a writing-focused job, so having a bachelor's in something like journalism, communications, or English can set you apart from other applicants and be the thing that you need to get a job in this field. Now, you can still get a job if you're not traditionally higher educated, but you need to be writing focused and someone that writes all the time and practices it consistently, or else you're going to have small mistakes that are going to be apparent and glaring when you're trying to get one of these positions. Now, oftentimes you can get this position by simply applying at job posting websites, places like Hitmarker or LinkedIn as well, but a good percentage of the jobs are going to ask you to send them things that you have written and work that you have already done, or they're going to give you a prompt for you to write for them. Don't cut corners during this part of the job application process. In order to differentiate yourself from the sea of other applicants and the swell of people trying to cut corners with AI, you need to set yourself apart and make sure that you are producing good pieces for this so that you have a higher chances of securing these positions. Now, next up, we do got to talk about the job of a coach. And coaches in esports are just as, if not arguably more important than the professionals themselves. They work with the pros to make plays, train them to be better, and keep their mental in check each and every day. They're going to also break down game data and point out the flaws that players would normally look over and make it so it's digestible and easy for the players to understand. A coach is the brain and motivator behind the team that makes it such an efficient unit, and players can win or lose based on the competence of their coach alone. Now, for the education that's needed, just like with esports pros, you're not required to have a high level of education. If you have the skill, knowledge, and spirit to coach others into leveling up their play, then you are qualified to give coaching an earnest try. But oftentimes, you're going to have to work your way up in the field, starting with individual coaching and growing to other bigger projects, including small teams, larger teams, and eventually leading entire projects as a head coach. Now, if you want to get a career in this position, you need to first build a network with as many pros as possible. Coaching is like any other job where the ones with the most experience are going to be looked at more favorably by the big orgs. So it's best in this scenario to start off coaching amateur teams, and this way you can build your resume to be more presentable for bigger roles you choose to move on to. Now, moving on to job number 7, esports manager. Now, an esports manager is in charge of everything that goes into making a team successful. They look for competitions to enter a team in, search for partnerships for them, and manage the development of players. Their job is to get hands-on and manage the logistics of operating a team so the players can focus on getting better at the game. Now, for education, this doesn't require a degree, but if you were to get one, something with a business or communications background would go a long way for this specific field. You could create a team, league, or management company yourself to be something that you use as a resume later on, or grow yourself to something that could actually become a job for you, or you could apply your services to smaller projects, do good work with them, and that becomes a resume that shows you're capable to take on larger tasks at bigger orgs and companies interested in esports. And remember, of course, that every single small job you take in this field, you need to do your absolute best, because every single person that works with you becomes a credible witness to your work and skill, and they can be the person that gets you a job with another company later on. Now, next up, job number 8, data analyst, with an average salary around here. Esports data analysts provide information and insight from more technical perspective to the community. Coaches, players, broadcasters, and the audience themselves can look forward to the evaluation of a player or a team from a data analyst. Usually this can be done through graphics or spreadsheets to show just how well certain individuals or teams are performing during a game or an entire season, and maybe certain aspects of the game that are lacking that coaches can then apply to the team's performance, making them better and better. Now this is going to be a more technical position, so the people hiring for these positions are going to want to see something a little more concrete. You could have a degree in data analytics, and this could go a long way, but also someone that makes videos or makes content breaking down players from a technical or statistic aspect can go a long way to getting you a job as well. Now, if you want to land a position in this role, you're going to need to be a bit proactive, reaching out to teams and coaches with your experience, trying to offer what you can do to help their team. Oftentimes in the offseason, teams and orgs will recruit for analysts, and this can be an opportunity for you to go in and go through their application process and make sure that you have a resume backing up your skills. The next up, job number 9, game development. Now, what exactly does this job do? Well, game developers make the code, sounds, art, and stories that make up the games that we play and love, or maybe hate, depending on how your rank matches go. Now, needless to say, an average game dev will have a lot of knowledge on different aspects of what makes a game work. And depending on what aspects you're best at or most interested in, you could specialize in a team that tackles exactly that for a game. There's the audio team, the art team, the programming team, and the game design team. They all work together to make the final product that we play day by day. Since you're directly dealing with the more mechanical and standardized side of the industry, they're going to demand a bit more from you. On average, video game companies are going to prefer that you have a computer science degree or degree related to the specific field. There's of course going to be the chance that you simply build experience yourself by having a portfolio of the things that you've worked on, and you could certainly do that, but college is also a good option to build that portfolio as well. Essentially, there are more sides here, but you're definitely going to need to have the skills and the resume to back up your portfolio. Now, if you have some qualifications and skills, you're going to want to apply to as many companies with as close to the proper qualifications to you as possible to land that one job that is going to kickstart your career. Now, the first couple of jobs you get might not be your dream job, but you can work your way through the industry as you get more and more experience, eventually settling on the games that you want to be a part of and the big projects that you want to actually run. Game developers could even work on their own projects that could take off in the public eye at any moment during a game jam, or just better refine their skills for future endeavors down the road. Now, the last position we got to talk about is esports CEO. Definitely the highest potential in esports, but also the most difficult job to actually acquire. As opposed to the esports managers or coach, the esports CEO is at the very top of an esports team or company. They handle the business side of things by overseeing the funding for every aspect of the team, company, or project they're working on. In addition to that, they have to be the driving spokesperson and decision maker for the entire company, including things like securing revenue from sponsors or potentially brand deals, and being a vocal advocate for what the business and service provides into the esports community. Now, for education needs, there are tons of degrees that can actually be beneficial to you if you want to become an esports CEO, from business administration to economics, communications, marketing, and the list goes on and on. But there are also so many esports CEOs and CEOs in general that have no degree at all. So it's incredibly possible for you to go whatever path you deem proper, but you definitely need to always be self-teaching, learning, and trying to become the best version of yourself, because you are standing at the forefront of your business succeeding or failing. Now, if you want to get this position, there's really only two major ways. You create a business from scratch that provides a service or a need in esports, and you designate yourself the CEO, the leader of the entire company, and you drive all decisions about the company. Or you join a company and you work incredibly hard to become a senior level executive within the company by consistently producing results, demonstrating high level skills, and working your way through the management in the company. Now, if you want to grow a business yourself, of course, all you need to do is think about something that is a need in esports and what you could do in order to create that need or service and provide it to a high level. It's a little easier said than done, but of course, as is most things. Now, if you really want to level up your career in esports, you need to do two major things. You need to press subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the esports related career videos we're going to post on this channel, because a lot is coming. And you need to go check out the Saudi Esports Academy down below, where we run boot camps covering many of the jobs in esports that you want and breaking it down with a leading industry professional of the skills and path that you need to take in order to get positions just like that. Check it out right now down below.